Friday's family baking. Caleb is busy washing his hands, and we are live from the kitchen in the vicarage in Enville. And we just made ourselves a cup of tea, haven't we?
Yes.
So I'm just going to grab my tea, and we will wait for one or two of you to join in with us. Before we start,
I poured it on the floor.
you pour some on the floor, that's all right. So today we're going to be making cheese straws.
Cheese straws.
Cheese straws. So we thought it was time for some savoury baking.
Yeah, so we're running out of flour as well.
We're running out of flour, but we have got a little bit of flour, and we haven't got so many eggs either. But we're sure we can sort that out.
This is here for a reason.
I didn't know if you wanted to share your extra baking this week.
We'll do that at the end.
We'll do that later. Okay.
I was going to do it at the beginning.
No, we'll do it at the end. So, so thank you those of you who are joining us already for today's Friday family baking. Now, we do know that in a couple of households it's been called Cooking with Caleb, which I have to say I'm less happy with, but Caleb's really happy about. So I'm still sticking with Friday family baking, but Caleb's thinking Cooking with Caleb. So we may need to take a bit of a vote on it at the end of this morning's session as to whether we rebrand and become Cooking with Caleb rather than Friday family baking.
Yes, I'm aiming for a slot on Saturday Kitchen with, is it Matt Tebbett?
Yeah.
Matt Tebbett, yes. Very exciting.
Mm.
Other morning cookery shows are there, but it's not as good as it.
No,
Gotta support the
Caleb
BBC.
loves a bit of a
Saturday Kitchen,
Saturday
yeah.
Kitchen, don't you?
Mm.
And I gave Caleb an extra trim, which I think you'll agree looks a bit better than it did last week. So I got some hairdressing scissors out,
Yes.
and yeah, worse things have happened in the world. Anyway, I think we should start. Do you want us
Checking
to?
the time. Yeah, it's 11 o'clock now.
Is it 11?
It's 11 o'clock, yes.
It's 11 o'clock. So this is another family favourite. So I don't know what recipe book you use, but we use the B Road cookbook. Now both of my grandmothers used to use this. My issue's a bit tatty, but because it was going to be filmed, I have put sellotape down the spine. But a few years ago, they reissued the book with more recipes, and this was some sort of anniversary edition,
40th
the
year.
40th edition.
Yes.
Yeah, it's quite exciting. So this is our cookbook for today, except Caleb likes to use the new one.
I don't like new, I just think, you got to look all, flash, haven't you, for the camera.
Okay, so we're going to use the new one. Do we want to do our shout-outs now or later?
Later, I think.
Later, okay. So do you want to talk us through the recipe? Do you
So
want to read
to-
out what we've got?
I know, well,
Start with
you keep
the-
taking things away from me.
Okay.
So to start with, we want 100 grams of
Or how many ounces?
4 ounces of self-raising flour.
I've done what you did. Yeah.
No, it's good, you know.
Okay.
We also want a pinch of salt,
Yep.
which is here. We also need 2 ounces or 50 grams of margarine,
Which we've pre-chopped.
75 grams or 3 ounces of matured cheddar, or if you're feeling adventurous, red Leicester. That needs to be grated later on, so make sure you have your grater handy. Ours is lacking a top.
Yep.
You also need 1 egg, which we'll be beating later on. And also, you need a bit of mustard powder, but we don't have any mustard, so we've gone for Marmite because it begins with an M and is equally tasty. So are we going to start?
Yeah, we're going to start.
Okay, well, step number 1, you need to preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius or
Okay.
350 degrees Fahrenheit or gas mark 4, which we have already
Yeah, we've done.
done, yes. And also, as always, on Cooking with Caleb, we must always grease our baking trays
No,
early on.
for those of you who just joined, we've got a bit of a thing with the name. So I'm sticking with Friday family baking, but some households are calling this Cooking with Caleb. So at the end of today's session, we're going to have a vote, and we're going to ask you to cast your votes as to whether we should rebrand to Cooking with Caleb.
Yes, I'm seeing that Marmite is not a popular choice, but you don't need Marmite. It's mustard or Marmite or nothing. Those are your options, or anything else you fancy. So you could do fennel or something, couldn't you?
Or chili flakes.
Or chili flake. We could do chili flakes as well. Maybe not.
Okay.
Maybe, or maybe, I don't know. It can be
Okay,
too
we
many
need to get on
flavours.
with
Let's get
cooking.
started. So we need to mix together our flour, which we need to sieve into a bowl. Thank you. Don't spill any more stuff, please.
Okay.
We also now need to add in our salt. So it's just a pinch of salt. And at this point, we would also be adding in our mustard if we have any, which we don't. So we're going to have a little quick squeeze.
Well, why don't we squeeze that at the end?
We're going to squeeze this at the end, apparently.
Yeah.
Well, we're not following the recipe, it turns out. And then we need to rub in our margarine. So this is the margarine going into the bowl.
I'm going to beat the egg.
So remember, when we're rubbing in, it's all about fingers and thumbs. You need to get in there.
How's that going?
Well, it's not going as quickly as I thought it would do.
No, it never does. Okay, so I'm going to beat the egg, ready for in a minute. And then while Caleb's doing his fingers and thumbs, so you're going to show us your palms to show whether you've, yeah, look, you see, perfect rubbing in, no flour on his palms. So
There's
now
not flour on my t-shirt though.
I know, but you should wear a pinny.
No, that's because you were chucking flour everywhere earlier.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to grate the cheese. We've only got some little end bits. It's not a very good idea to be baking on a Friday because we still haven't been shopping yet.
We went to go shopping yesterday, weren't we? But we were busy
We
with
couldn't
other
be
things,
bothered.
weren't we? Yes.
What were we doing?
I can't remember.
I don't know what we were doing. We were very busy. Oh, I was doing your hair.
Yeah, but we had other things to do. We had other errands, didn't we?
Yes, we were running errands. So should we do some shout outs? So we've got a list of people to do some shout outs to. So we were sent this really nice picture which you probably can't see. So we need to do a shout out to Caleb's #1 fans who are Frankie and Ralph. Do you want to say hello to Frankie?
Hello, Frankie and Ralph. Welcome to Cooking with Caleb this Friday.
Yes, and this is a picture of Frankie getting really close to the TV watching Cooking with Caleb Friday Family Bacon. So who else are we shouting out to?
Presswood at the Lodge and the Coach House. Lovely to have you. That's where we were yesterday. We were dropping books
We
off,
were
weren't
dropping
Yes.
books, exactly.
Yeah, so from us to you. Then we've also got, I can't read your handwriting.
Foley Infant School.
The Foley Infant School. It didn't look like that.
No.
The Bugley.
Brindley.
Okay. Do you want to read?
Brindley Junior School. So sorry schools, I'm really sorry, I can't write very well. I do need to come in for handwriting lessons. So we want to say hello to the children, the parents and staff at Foley Infants and Brindley Juniors.
The Res Group in Shrewsbury and Enville. You're both equally loved. And of course, the Reverend Adam Gompertz.
Yeah, who happens to be our #1 fan, who his vote may well swing the whole thing on the name change issue. And we've also got another fan who, well, certainly last time she was involved in cookie baking, put a lot of this on the patio doors. So we need to say hello to Layla Turner. So I don't know if she's going to be allowed to do any cheese scones. Yeah, so she wasn't allowed to do much last week after the previous week. With the cookie mixture going.
I must say, this makes it looking quite good.
It's looking quite good. Do you want to show? That is looking quite good. Do you want to show everybody?
You can't really see from a distance, can you?
You can't see from a distance.
It looks like
That's
very
good.
fine sand.
Very fine sand,
Yes.
very fine breadcrumbs.
It's the kind of sand you would get in the south of Spain, isn't it? Not, your white sand you get in other parts, is it?
Okay.
Yeah, yellow sand.
Okay, so now what are we doing?
So now we're stirring in our cheese.
Oh, you need a spoon.
Oh, I do it with my hands.
Okay, I have look. My last wooden spoon is still in place. So,
Then we just wash it.
also want to say thank you. I was offered from family in Switzerland that they would send emergency wooden spoons, but we've still got one left. I also want to say thank you very much to somebody who very kindly went through their baking cupboard and has given us a tin of treacle. So we're going to be all right next week if we decide to use treacle. So thank you very much for emergency baking supplies. Here's your spoon.
Excuse me.
Yep.
So all that cheese goes in, all 3 ounces. I think we've got a little bit more than 3 ounces because we quite like cheese in this house.
Yeah, we did extra cheese.
But I think it depends how cheesy you want to go. You can do more or less. And obviously with this mixture you can kind of add any other spices or additives that you kind of fancy really. Obviously we're not doing the mustard and...
I'm going to do Marmite, are we?
I don't know, do you want to do Marmite or can we do chilli flakes?
Oh,
We
I
might
think
change
let's do
our ideas.
chili. We're going to go chili flakes, I think.
We're no longer doing Marmite. Obviously you can do Marmite. Marmite and cheese obviously was a very good sandwich combination, which is where my head was going first thing this morning.
But
during
these
my
will be, I think we're going to rename these Mexican cheese twists, not too many. Woo!
That's not too many, that's like none at all.
No, that's a lot of, anyway. Mexican cheese straws we now have.
Okay, now give me some beaten egg, please.
A beaten egg. So you just want to add a little bit to start with, because you're trying to combine this
We need
into...
more chilli flakes in this, you can barely see them.
Well, I think we should be careful. Obviously I want to be cautious in all things.
More, please.
Okay.
More.
I can do the whole egg.
You might need another egg.
No, I think we'll be alright.
Now, what you want to have is a stiff dough, is what it says in the book. Which is, I'm not really sure what that means. Surely all dough is fairly stiff. It's either gooey or not. He's
You could
stiff,
use
isn't
your
he?
hands, really. Shall I just scrape the rest of this egg?
Yeah. I might need a break, really.
Oh, you won't use another egg. Yeah. And then we're going to flour our top. Now, somebody did give us a good tip, which obviously we're not following, which is to put cling film down first before you start rolling things out. But again, we're not actually terribly well stocked with cling film.
And also, we're saving the planet. Cling film is one of the biggest killers of turtles, isn't it?
Is it?
I don't know. I'm making facts up.
Okay.
This is what you
That'll
get.
do. I think you just use your hands
This is
now.
what you get with cooking with Caleb.
Cooking with Caleb, yeah, it's a bit like Wikipedia. It's a bit hit and miss. Okay, there you go. So you can pull that all into a ball, and
You should be doing it, but you've got the apron.
okay, I've got the apron. I've got the apron and a bit of nails, I think, is what's going on
Well,
here.
no, the issue there is I need to get it properly in now.
Yeah, so there you go. So we have got, believe it or not, in spite of the fact Caleb would have ended up with a very sloppy dough, because he felt we needed another egg, we've now got a nice ball of dough. For Mexican cheese straws, as it turns out.
Yes. We're looking for fans in Mexico, so spread the word.
Yeah, spread the word. Are we looking for fans in Mexico? Caleb's desperate for fans anywhere, to be honest with you.
I know,
You're
I've
not fussy, are
given
you?
them a bit slow this morning. We need to do something outrageous.
Yeah, so there we go.
What are we doing next?
We're going to
Pick
roll
this
it
up.
out.
So we want to roll it out very thinly, it says. I believe there was a measurement in the previous booklet.
Was there?
Maybe not. No.
No, not too thinly.
And then we need to cut a few rings for serving. What does that mean?
No, we're just going to cut it into.
Anyway, so we're going to start rolling it
Not
out.
too thin because it'll disintegrate.
Not too thin apparently, even though it says to do it thinly. So,
Yeah.
who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows who we should be trusting here?
So we've greased our baking sheets.
That was good actually, right?
That is looking quite good. And there's quite a few chili flakes, aren't there?
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah. So are you going to
You out of the way for that? I'm going to roll it.
Oh, okay. Let's do you want to cut them into straw shapes.
Yeah, so the importance when cutting a straw is to remember straws are cylindrical. So you're aiming for a straight line.
Go on then. Why don't you go this way?
Okay. Like that.
Yeah. I think these are quite wide straws.
Okay, maybe you want your straws to be thinner than what we've done. So you go too thin, they break up.
They do break up. I'm going to use this little it's all about, yeah, so what we're going to find here, because we've got differing sizes of straws, so we may have an uneven bake,
Well, it's good stuff.
I'm guessing.
We
What
roll
do
some
you
of this
think?
stuff. I think, you know, we didn't talk about our big ginger biscuit, I mean, the success of that.
Oh yeah, the big ginger biscuit did work out. And then do you want to tell everybody your success of yesterday?
Yes, I know, but we're still, I can't
Oh, you can't multitask. Okay. So that's one thing we've really learned, isn't it, with this Friday family baking, is Caleb does not tend to go in for multitasking, and it's one thing with tunnel vision or another, really.
But this is quite tough, really. I mean, I don't know how far you've got along at home, but the actual cutting of the straws isn't an easy task, really. I think the easy part is the moving of the straws from one place to another, because all you're doing is, you know.
Okay, so you're going to put those in the oven. So how long do these need to go into the oven for?
Well, between 10 and 15 minutes. I suppose it's how baked you want them, how golden brown you want. So I think 10 minutes and have a little look, and then see how you feel, really.
Yeah, shall I put these in now?
Yep.
Okay. So can you set a timer?
Yes. Alexa, a timer for 10 minutes, please.
Okay, so Alexa is going to help us out again.
So yesterday morning, we decided to do a bit of baking, but we did flourless baking? I can't remember. No,
Yeast.
yeastless baking is what we did. So is that gluten free?
No.
No, it's not. It's yeast free,
Yeastless.
whatever that means.
We were trying to make bread, weren't we?
So
Shall
we're
we read
making.
out the recipe,
Oh,
shall
I
I?
haven't got on.
Oh, okay.
I can do this part. You can roll it out.
Okay.
We need a bit more flour here, I think.
Okay. It's over there.
Oh, it's too late now.
Okay.
So yesterday we decided to make bread, and we made it what we call soda bread.
Yes.
So if you would like to, well, I think I've still got bits of it. Oh, I don't know, who knows. Anyway, if you would like the
So
recipe,
there is some in the bread bin.
if you would like,
Patch there.
oh, well,
That's what's left of it.
there's not very much left. It became quite a stodgy consistence. There it is. So the whole baking time itself is it's only half an hour in the actual oven itself, and it's half an hour beforehand to let the dough itself breathe. So all in all, it took us about an hour and 15 minutes to break a lovely loaf of bread. So if you would like the recipe, or if you have a suggestion of how we could possibly bake that one time with Baking with Caleb, Cooking with Caleb, then please do let us know. But it's here. It was in yesterday's Times newspaper. I think it's a Paul Hollywood. I know some of you have strong feelings about him due to his Bake Off and the move from BBC to Channel 4, but here we are. So, those next ones have gone in as well. We've got a little bit of leftover cheesy straw mix, so I think we'll probably get rid of that.
going to speak about that.
Yes.
So what's our theme for today, apart from baking?
So that's the fun part done, now it's the boring part. Normally here we do proper religion, but today we're not so much.
Oh,
I don't know.
Yeah.
No, it's not BCP, let's put it that way. Today, obviously yesterday was St George's Day,
Yeah.
the patron saint of England, so today we thought we would delve into his story and...
Want to move that out of the way?
I don't know where the page has gone,
Over here. Yeah, so we're going to think about St George today, because yesterday was St George's Day. We're just going to have a quick tidy up.
Where's the paper?
It's all behind us. You need to dry your hands. And we have got for you a craft activity. So what you will need for the craft activity, we'll give you a few minutes to gather your things. You'll need some cardboard, so maybe an old cereal box, some scissors, some colouring pens, and maybe a little bit of glue or sellotape. So what we thought we would do, about St George, is you're going to dry off. Excellent. We're going to make masks and swords. Well, and Caleb's, we've got a song for you as well, obviously. But look, here you go, knight's mask and sword. So we made that out of one half of a cereal box. So Caleb is now going to make his own mask.
Am I?
Yes.
I made the mask before though.
No, you did not. So what we're going to do, did you get your scissors?
Oh no, I need to get those.
Okay, Caleb's going to get his left-handed scissors. So down the thin end of the cardboard box, you can use that bit to make your sword. So if you cut that, and then on one end you can snip off the folding bit, and on the other end you can leave the folding bit. And then these flappy bits that are the top and the bottom of the box, you cut those off. So Caleb's left-handed, so he's got left-handed scissors.
I'm carrying my scissors the health and safety way.
Yeah, sensibly carrying his scissors. So we're going to use this bit to come across the top of our sword. So I'm just going to cut around the edges. So do you want to cut a bottom, the sword to a point, neatly? At a point that goes this way, obviously, like a sword, this way. There we go.
It's not enough to be even sword, but...
No, it's not very even, but it's good enough.
The best swords aren't always even though, we've learned, haven't we?
Yeah, I'm
You
sure.
know.
So we're just going to put a dab of glue here, and then press that down to make our, what do you call that?
Hilt.
Someone's going to know. Is it the hilt?
It's a hilt, isn't it?
I don't know. Anyway, so that's our sword. We can decorate that in a minute. Now, for our helmet, our mask for St George, we will deal with a little bit with the history of this and explain why this is all a bit wrong. Are you going to draw around that or just cut around it?
Okay, right, that one.
So you're going for a mask shape and then cutting out a little bit at the top, which could be like the feathers on, like the plume on the top of the helmet. So Caleb's got his really concentrating face on now. And I've got some colours here so that we can decorate our sword. I bought these, I think I got these from the Works or somewhere like that. And they've come in very useful during lockdown. I don't think I've ever used felt tip pens as much.
What are you looking at that for?
No, I'd say it's going ever so well.
It's a lot better than yours, did
It's going
even though I'm using
very-
yours as a template.
It's going very well. So I'm just going to draw some little patterns on the sword, so you can make your sword look pretty. or scary, or whatever a sword should look like. I'm just going to do some little patterny circle bits. And I might write Caleb on it. Okay.
It's going very well.
It's doing very well. So you want to cut out, so you're cutting out like a face shape really. And if you want to put a plume on the top, then you can cut out a bit of a plume. Excellent. That's alright. Okay.
Now I need to make my holes.
And then you need to make holes. So when you've got your basic shape,
It's like an apple,
it
isn't
does
it?
look like an apple. So you're cutting out an apple really. So when you've got your apple shape, you hold it up to your face and then sort of vaguely work out where your eyes might be. And then put it back down with a little mark. Do you want to
Doesn't
pen?
matter, straight.
Okay. I don't think it matters so much.
Doesn't matter, I'll actually straight on my head, that's boring, isn't it?
Well, okay, so your eyes may not be straight on your head, but that probably doesn't matter. So if you make two little marks where your eyes are, that will give you a bit of a guide how to cut out. Now you need to do this a bit carefully, so take the pointy end of the scissors, or get a grown-up to help you, to pierce through the cardboard, and then you can start to make a little eye slit. How's that? Okay, so make a little eye slit.
It's quite tough actually.
It is quite tough, I tell you, it's very hard work. Do you want a hand?
No, why do I want to
Okay.
for?
No, I don't know why you want a hand. And then you can obviously decorate this however you like. So I've gone for red plumage on mine. So you're going for the idea that this is like the visor bit that goes over the mouth. So you might want to do little bits where you can breathe through it. And then I've done little,
Oh, that's quite good actually.
oh, it's quite good.
That's quite good, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So
Okay,
are you going to decorate it?
Yes, why have you done to your... I need to make my plumage a bit plumier.
Well, I think just, why don't you draw it first? Because we haven't got hours. Do you want me to read some of the story?
Yes,
While
you
you
know
do
what?
some decorating? Or do you want me to
Can
decorate?
you decorate and I do story, please?
Okay, so Caleb's going to tell us about St George. So he's got some factual information first.
So I get the drinks break now. Come on, hurry up. So St George was the son of a Christian nobleman, and he was born around 275 to 285 AD, or as we call it now in the modern world, CE, Common Era, in the Roman province of Syria, Palestina. He was raised as a Christian. He became a Roman soldier working for the Emperor Diocletian in Nicomedia and rising to the rank of tribunus. The emperor worshipped the Roman gods at the time, and in 302 he issued an edict that every soldier must make an offering to the Roman gods. Christian soldiers who refused to make such an offering were to be arrested. George insisted that he himself would remain a Christian, even though the emperor tried to bribe him with promises of land, money, and slaves. Eventually, the emperor decided reluctantly to execute George. Before he was arrested, George gave all of his money away to the poor, and he went to his death bravely, even though he was tortured horribly. St George is naturally the patron saint of England, but also many other countries.
I know, I've got more
He is-
information about that.
Oh well, get on. Oh, you know, that's a song.
No, here.
I mean, that's such a. Okay.
Yeah. There's a
Well,
star.
who knows? As you can tell, we've rehearsed this very well. So St George's flag. So he is most well known part for his. I'm going to start that part again before I was rudely interrupted by the drawer. So St George is the patron saint of England and many other countries, and he is most well known for his part in the story of St George and the Dragon, which we will come on to soon. But St George's flag itself was adopted as England's official national flag in 1190, and he was made patron saint of England in 1350. So it's quite a long time afterwards. Alexa, stop. So that's the cheese drawers ready for the first 10 minutes. Do we need it all?
No, I'm going to get that.
Okay, so it looks like 10 minutes could be it, but depending on how your oven goes, it might be time. So the myth about slaying the dragon is said to have been in Libya, where the locals were feeding. But we'll get back to that in a second. So apparently, St George is also the patron saint of Bulgaria, Palestine, Ethiopia, and Greece, which is quite interesting. Quite a lot of countries, quite well scattered around. So, is that what we want to be with that thing?
Yes.
Okay. It wasn't very well signposted.
Yeah.
So now we're going to get on to the fun part with St George and the Dragon story. So buckle up, boys and girls. It's going to be adventurous. There was once a city called Cylene, and the people of Cylene were not Christians, but they were very happy, going every day to draw water from a nearby spring and living a simple life. One day, however, a dragon decided to make its nest by the spring, and life became very difficult for them. Many men tried to fight the dragon or chase it away, but they all failed. As they had to have water, the people of Cylene came up with a plan. They would distract the dragon by taking him a sheep every day for a meal. While he was busy eating, they would quickly take the water they needed. Everything worked fine for a while, but one day we didn't have any more sheep to offer the dragon. They became more and more thirsty, and eventually, in desperation, they decided to take the dragon a young girl instead. Lots were drawn to see which young girl would be chosen each day. One day, Cylene's princess was the chosen maiden. The king begged for his daughter to be spared, but nobody listened, and the princess was dragged off to meet the dragon, like the other young girls before her. While the princess stood before the dragon trying to be brave, St. George rode by on his horse. Seeing the pretty princess and realising the situation, he made the sign of the cross to show he was a Christian. And then he bravely fought the dragon, slaying it and rescuing the princess. The citizens were so impressed with his bravery that they then in turn converted to Christianity. So while that story is mythical, because dragons aren't really that real, it's quite an impressive feat, and also mirrors his bravery in real life, doesn't it?
Yes. So we've got a song, haven't we?
Yes. Are we not going to show off our biscuits first?
Oh yes.
Our twists.
I'm proclaiming success. Mexican cheese twists. No, they're not twists, are they? They're just straws. Is that nice?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay. And then we've got a song. So we've done a song. So if you've got your St. George mask, yours is, I haven't quite finished really, and your sword, we've got a song for you which goes to the tune of If You're Happy and You Know It. Those are your words.
Oh.
Okay. You've got a mouthful of biscuit now. So if you're happy and you know it, so hopefully this all makes sense. And when we say St. George, we're going to hold our masks up. Right, have you finished your cheese straw?
Not really, no.
Do you need a slab of tea? I say you would never see this on Saturday Kitchen, would you? Okay.
Well, they're doing food heaven and food hell. It takes a long time, don't they?
Okay, 3, 2, 1. St. George, he killed a dragon with a sword, a sword. St. George, he killed a dragon with a sword, a sword. Killed a fire-breathing dragon and he rescued a fair maiden. St. George, he killed a dragon with a sword, a sword. St. George, he loved God with his whole heart, loved God. St. George, he loved God with his whole heart, loved God. When people tried to stop him and they locked him up in prison, St. George, he loved God with his whole heart, loved God. St. George was kind and generous to the poor, cared for them. St. George was kind and generous to the poor, cared for them.
When people tried to...
No, he gave away possessions and made sure that they had food. St. George was kind and generous to the poor, cared for them. St. George is loved by countries worldwide. A sword, love for... No, you know when you do... Sorry everybody, when you do... We only practice the first few verses. You know when you do your happy note, you say, clap your hands, stand up, sit down.
Oh, I don't know, I've never done that.
Yes, you do.
Oh.
Okay.
Final verse.
Final verse. St. George is loved in countries worldwide. A sword, love God, help the poor. St. George is loved in countries worldwide.
A sword,
love God, care for the poor. He's the patron saint of England, Bulgaria, Palestine, Ethiopia, Greece, Lithuania and Russia. Have a look at the map. St. George is loved in countries in the world. A sword, love God, care for the poor.
Well, that wasn't so good, that one.
I think it's very good. I think that was a massive success, and I think that was a good song. So, we need a final vote, everybody, if you wouldn't mind. We need a final vote for whether we change the name to Friday Family Baking to Cooking with Caleb. So, let us know your thoughts. Are we looking for recipe suggestions for next week?
I think we are, yes.
We're looking for recipe suggestions on the basis that we may obviously substitute ingredients. Whatever we need to cook, we want to be able to put together and then bake. So the baking must be about 10 or 15 minutes to give us time for a story and a song.
Yes, and
a craft activity.
should we give out homework as well to some of the children? They could, what's topic going to be for next week?
Well, I don't know.
Okay, well, when we release the topic, maybe this is next week or the week after. We could ask people to write a nursery rhyme tune song.
Oh, we could, yes, we could
have
get...
a homework sent in, and we could choose the best
Okay,
one.
well, we'll do that. Caleb's getting way ahead of himself here. Anyway, have a good week. Thank you very much for joining us. Enjoy your cheese straws, Mexican or otherwise.
The cheese flakes are very good, actually.
And we will see you next Friday. Take care. Bye.